Hi, my name is Amy Randall. I'm chair of the history department at Santa Clara University. Why history? Why pursue a history major or a minor? Why bother taking any history classes at all? Students in history are trained to engage in critical thinking, develop close reading habits, and analyze diverse sources, including scholars' different interpretations and debates about the past, as well as multiple historical voices and materials, some of which are even contradictory. This, in and of itself, helps to foster not only greater knowledge about the past, but greater open-mindedness and curiosity as students come to encounter historical knowledge and modes of inquiry that they haven't encountered before. Students in history are trained to communicate effectively, both verbally and in writing. And to teach students to do this well, we teach them how to mobilize evidence from readings to make a clear and persuasive argument. Students often in history pursue longer research projects, and this too is valuable for many reasons, including it helps to foster independent work, the ability for students to prioritize time and manage different aspects of a project and bring it to completion on their own, relatively independently. Why else should people consider history? Well, there are many reasons, but among others, it also teaches additional life skills that I want to just mention here for a moment. Students in history classes are often required to lead group discussions with other classmates, engage in group exercises, and complete group assignments. This helps to foster important leadership and presentation skills, leading discussion, of course, but it also fosters students' ability to work well with others, to collaborate and to be team players, to learn the value of that and to learn how to do that. Why history? Perspective. Students who study the past are uniquely positioned to understand the present. They can understand how current political, social, economic landscapes are informed by the past, and this is a very valuable perspective. And history students finally become better world citizens. They do this because of their studies. They acquire a kind of cultural competency and connect with people from diverse backgrounds because they study different historical and cultural contexts. And this is very valuable as students move forward in their lives, not only with history careers, but other careers. And all of the skills that I've identified just now are extremely valuable and transferable. Well, many of our history students go on to pursue history-related careers, such as becoming teachers, professors, historians, working in higher educational administration, conducting research in archives, becoming archivists, librarians. Many of our history students also pursue very, very different careers. We have history students who go on to become attorneys, journalists, radio producers, business executives, communications experts, who work in information management, who conduct public service work, are engaged in policy analysis, work in nonprofit organizations, become museum curators for historical exhibits. And we even have students who go on, who are double majors and go on to become doctors. We have a recent graduate, for example, who is doing her residency right now, and somehow in her spare time, she managed to write an article for a historical medical journal on the history of pain. I should also add that students in history are particularly well suited to work in the entertainment industry, to write historical screenplays, for example, to help produce films about historical subjects. And even though Lin-Manuel Miranda was not a history major, he had to do a lot of historical research to make Hamilton what it was. So I encourage you to remember that taking history classes teaches such important life skills that again can be carried on to many different situations and careers. And we see that in all of the amazing stories that we hear from our graduates. And in the next slide, you'll hear or see a few of those stories.
Theodore Roosevelt said, "The more you know about the past, the more prepared you are for the future." Hello, I'm Professor Nancy Unger. I've devoted my life to the study of history because, to me, it's a very practical subject. When faced with difficult problems in troubled times, why reinvent the wheel? Why not see how people attacked similar problems in the past? What worked? What didn't work? Santa Clara's dedication to the education of the whole person has never been as vital as it is right now. As the saying goes, science can tell you how to clone a Tyrannosaurus Rex. History can tell you why this might not be a good idea. Like a lot of my colleagues, I am regularly asked to give speeches, publish op-eds, and appear on TV, radio, and podcasts because we show people how learning about the past can help them understand the present and improve the future. But don't just take my word for it. According to the Harvard Business Review, from Silicon Valley to the Pentagon, people are beginning to realize that to effectively tackle today's biggest social and technological challenges, we need to think critically about the human context, something humanities graduates, including history graduates, happen to be well trained to do. And the late Steve Jobs advised, technology alone is not enough. It's technology married with liberal arts, married with the humanities, that yields the results that make our hearts sing. Whether you take a single history class or become a major, I guarantee you that the skills you'll develop, the ability to think critically, to evaluate evidence, and to communicate effectively will serve you well. Feel free to contact me or any of my history colleagues for more on what history can do for you.
Hi, my name is Naomi Andrews, and I'm a professor in the history department here at Santa Clara University, where I work on the history of modern Europe, European colonialism, gender, race, and sexuality. The history major here at Santa Clara is an extremely flexible major, one that allows students to both delve deep into specific topics and approaches to history, and also to roam widely and explore many different kinds of history and geographic focuses. It's also the case, which we think is a really great benefit, that it's very easy for students to double major or major and minor in history and something else here at Santa Clara. For example, we have a lot of students who are double majors in women and gender studies, ethnic studies, political science, economics, English, and also some number of our students are also double majors in STEM fields as well. You're going to meet some of these students later on in our presentation. I also want to describe to you how easy it is to minor in history at Santa Clara. And we have a lot of students, especially the STEM students, who do minor in history because they take their introductory courses in history classes and they find that they really like the discipline. What makes it so easy for students to minor in history is that courses at Santa Clara in the history department fulfill many areas of the core curriculum. In fact, 7 of them, which happens by coincidence to be the same number of courses that are required for a minor in the department. So you can fulfill many of the core requirements that are going to be, necessary to fulfill in the course of your college career simply by taking classes that you'll be excited by and which will teach you some of the skills that you've already heard other professors talk about and that you'll hear students say more about later on, such as presentation, critical thinking, and strong research and writing skills. Clara is a community of students and faculty who explore the world together. Our department offers a wide-ranging curriculum that lets students explore the history of the world from many vantage points, both geographical and topical. We have classes that dive deep into pivotal historical moments like the Crusades, the American, French, Haitian, Russian, and Chinese revolutions, the Progressive Era, World War I, the Cold War, and others. History classes explore broad historical themes and contexts like epidemics, women's and gender history around the world, LGBTQ plus history, the history of technology and the history of California, the history of American social movements, and also, of course, the histories of Africa, Asia, Europe, and the Americas. History majors learn how to do original research in historical writing, and they study controversial historical topics like ethnic cleansing and genocide, and the ties between sex, gender, and European colonialism in their senior seminar.
Hello, my name is Harry Odamting. I am an associate professor here at Santa Clara University, and in the history department, I teach Africa and the Atlantic world and teach courses on African and African American history, as well as Atlantic history. In addition to all of that, one of the things that I'm most proud of being a member of the history department faculty is having served for about 7 years as the faculty advisor for our History Honor Society, the Phi Alpha Theta group. And it is an award-winning group. The journal that the author has won many awards nationally and regionally. And also our students have won awards at various conferences that we have been able to attend. So it is something that we're very proud of, and we take the induction ceremony and the celebrations, the graduation ceremonies for our various inductees and students. And it is always an enjoyable moment for our students and their families when they attend such events. In addition to this, we have the History Club, and the History Club is one of the institutions in the history department that allow us to foster a sense of community, and particularly for the students, a sense of camaraderie, and also having an ownership mentality about history, the history department, and their own careers here at SCU. So the organized trivia nights, movie nights, and of course for us as faculty, we really enjoy the Pizza with the Prof events, and we're able to have a close relationship with our students and get to know them better outside of the classroom and outside of encountering them in various places on campus. So we're very happy with our students, and we know that our students are also very happy because when we have attended conferences, for example, our students are able to present their own work with their peers, and they realize that, as we've always been telling them, history is not about dates and dead presidents, but it is a lot more dynamic, and they're able to engage people who come from fictional history backgrounds, economic history, and other career pathways.
Hi, my name is Hiwad. I'm a sophomore history and econ major. I didn't start off this way. I came to SCU last fall, starting off in STEM, and I realized that with my skills and my interests, that perhaps some different discipline would be more suitable for me, and I really did find that in the history department at Santa Clara. Over the course of the past few quarters, I've already had the chance to take courses in a number of different disciplines, ranging from the history of technology to a course about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, to the Soviet Union, the Haitian Revolution, and I think what history offers in terms of learning is the ability to think critically about a topic that can be interpreted in so many different ways. Historical events are often never black and white, and what I've started to learn is that as historians, We seek out sources. In some cases, we try to synthesize sources, combine them, put them into conversation with one another, complicate time periods and movements, figures and governments, and see not only how we can answer questions that are relevant to our society's issues today, but also really be able to derive where they come from. And in addition to that, the community in the history department is terrific. There are events going on all the time. I can't say that I'm always able to make them, but the fact that they're there is great. And now, especially with virtual learning, we're having get-togethers and movie nights, and we stay in touch a great deal. And I look forward to the rest of my time here at SCU as a history major, because I know that it's going to prepare me for further research, the ability to write critically, concisely, effectively on not only historical matters, but many other subjects and disciplines as well. And I would encourage you, if you're interested, to learn more about it. Thanks. Bye.
Hi, my name's Bianca, and I'm a first-year history major at Santa Clara University. My love for history stems from a passion for social and environmental justice. I found that it's really important to consider questions such as, why are things the way they are? How did we get to now? And why are we still grappling with the issues that we are today when approaching current events and issues? My studies in history have shown that it's a very interdisciplinary subject. I've engaged with subjects such as economics, sociology, psychology, ethnic studies, women and gender studies, and philosophy in my studies with history. A lot of this is presented in the format of primary sources. I found that learning involves engaging with a lot of primary sources and, of course, a lot of reading. This can be challenging at first, but that's kind of what makes it fun, and there's a lot of interesting questions that these primary sources provoke. This, in turn, results in very interesting discourse within the classroom. I found that my history classes are mostly discussion-based, and that this creates a very fun learning environment where the students do a lot of talking and we can learn from each other and our own experiences in connection to events from the past. And all this is led, of course, by our very encouraging professors who are there to guide us and ask questions and to help further our learning in a way that is super flexible and in turn results in the development of critical thinking and problem solving, both very highly transferable skills. While you are learning about very broad subjects, I've also found that I'm constantly engaging with new subject matter in my classes. All of this is working together to build these skills that I've been so thankful for. And I'm so excited to continue learning in these classes about subjects such as the Russian Revolution and Enlightenment thinking and the development of utopias and dystopian thought. All of this is so interesting and new, and I can't wait to approach new subject matter and to continue developing these skills that history has afforded to me and to grow within this community.
Hi, I'm Randall, and I was lucky enough to take a history class my first quarter here at Santa Clara. Even though I wasn't a history major at the time, I decided to take the class, An Introduction to the French Revolution, because I thought it sounded interesting, and I had written a flimsy paper about the French Revolution in high school, and I wanted to set the record straight. At the time, I had no idea how important that class would be, but after studying the thinking of 18th century philosophers and reenacting debates about how to best end the French monarchy, I was hooked to historical research, and I became a history major by the end of my freshman year. I think studying history is important for two critical reasons. First, it helps sharpen your analytical skills. I hadn't realized it before, but the world is full of so many bogus claims by even well-intentioned people. And through historical studies, you build a body of knowledge that gives context to our progress throughout time and allows you to consume media and other sources with a more informed edge. This also helps your writing and all other disciplines tremendously, because studying history enables you to treat sources with more skepticism. One of my favorite parts of history is that it also fuels creativity by revealing how different people, throughout different times, thought and tackled their problems, giving you a toolbox to prepare for more current issues. And history's ability to help us learn how others thought brings me to my final point, which is that studying history helps build empathy. Whether we're talking about Soviet peasants dealing with the state taking their cows, or Japanese lords making the grueling trip to Tokyo every other year, Investigating history unearths the ideas, pains, and hopes of people from all different backgrounds and experiences. And this learning expands our ability to connect with others and understand, or at least appreciate, their perspectives. Because of this, I think all students should study at least some history in order to fuel these connections to our past. Beyond that, the professors are all amazing. They make the classes engaging and compassionate, and there's a great sense of community between them and the students. I don't know where I'd be without history, but I do know none of us would be anywhere without it. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Haley. I'm a history major and women and gender studies minor. Well, actually, I just graduated this past winter quarter. I always tell people that I started out at Santa Clara as a physics major, which is, of course, completely different from history, but I switched to history because of a class I took in my sophomore year, Modern China, with my soon-to-be advisor, Father Mariani. Despite what you think, learning all that history was like a breath of fresh air because I was so interested in it. And I learned that history was something that I was truly passionate about because I've always been a person that craves learning new things. Like I've always been a big reader. I think a major aspect of being a history student is, of course, being able to write about history and be able to discuss your opinions on paper. This year, I was given the opportunity to be the co-editor of the yearly student journal, Historical Perspectives. When you're a history student, of course, knowing your history is important, but being able to write about it critically and have a good standpoint is, of course, really important too. History students love researching, writing, and, of course, editing, which are great skills to bring with you into the future. As the editor, I got to learn about what other students were reading and learning in their other classes, which of course was a really great experience. And of course, I got some really worthwhile skills like editing and critical reading also. The history department at Santa Clara is filled with so many different professors that even double dip and span into different departments as well, which really allowed me personally to slowly connect many courses across many different disciplines. So you get to really see the connections across so many different types of history as well. I also got to cultivate really strong relationships with my professors, which was really great because I got to learn about what they were researching, which is, of course, really interesting work. I think being a history major, even a minor, is really beneficial because you learn so many worthwhile skills that you can take with you into the future. And I highly suggest taking even one class because you might find that you love it as much as I do and might even join the history department as well, just like I did.
What I valued the most from studying history at Santa Clara is the emphasis on critical thinking, in particular the importance of applying multiple lenses to examine historical events. In class, we are challenged to think rigorously about the text, trace the development of themes throughout the progression of the quarter, and discuss with our peers and professors in small seminar-style courses. The history classes I've taken at Santa Clara have been extremely transformative in terms of broadening my perspective and understanding, as well as strengthening my training as a problem solver. I'm majoring in history and mathematics, and the reason I've enjoyed practicing in both realms is the overlap in critical analysis and creative problem solving. In history courses, this manifests as figuring out how to extract information from primary sources and craft evidence-based arguments that are insightful and convincing, and encourage further questioning. As I've developed through my education in the history department, I've learned that history is about chasing curiosity, continuously investigating, asking questions, challenging mainstream ideas, and overall working to expand the narrative to get a better understanding of reality of the past and present. I'm incredibly grateful for my history professors and the experiences I've had with the department, and highly recommend that everyone take at least one history class while at SCU.
Thanks so much for watching this video. And again, we strongly hope that you consider taking a history class, if not becoming a history minor or major. Thank you so much for your attention. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us.